Welcome to the Growth Mindset with Mike and Keisha, the podcast where we unlock the secrets of entrepreneurial success. We're your hosts, Mike and Keisha. We're business entrepreneurs and influencers, passionate about sharing the wisdom of rising stars in the business world. Every week, we bring you candid conversations with successful entrepreneurs who have cracked the code to business growth.
On this episode of Growth Mindset with Mike and Keisha, we are thrilled to welcome Lydia from Reaching Heights. Lydia's mission is to guide and empower individuals on their healing journey, helping them break through limiting beliefs and live their best lives and walk in their purpose. Go ahead, Mike, and tell them a little bit more about what Lydia does.
With a background in clinical social work and a master's in human services and over 20 years experience, Lydia combines scholarly mastery, spiritual and enlightenment, and ancestral wisdom to help individuals develop personally and professionally. Reaching Heights is dedicated to raising social consciousness, cultivating philanthropy, and inspiring unity for a better world. Welcome, Lydia.
Hello,
Great to
hello.
have
I'm
you.
so happy to be here.
Great to have you.
Happy to be here.
Thank
It's
you
a
for
pleasure.
joining us.
We gave a little summary about who you are. So we want to get to know a little bit more about you. So can you tell us about your business, your entrepreneurial journey, and what inspired you to start your business?
Absolutely. And thank you again for this opportunity. I wanted to start with saying just my story. I always had a curious mind. I was always a very observant child, and being clear empathic, I really empathized with people and wanted to make them happy, simply put. That really led me to study psychology and found that most mental and emotional dissonance has to do with a misalignment in core values held and people's true nature, often influenced by social norms that really stifles personal inner expression, right? Like our ability to just be ourselves and feel like we're being ourselves. So what does that look like? Something like a sensitive child not getting the emotional support that they need, or childhood often thwarted by responsibility or the lessons of lack even. So with much inner reflection, spiritual journeys, I really was delving into metaphysics, understanding the world, understanding like the mind, body, and spirit connection. I really felt that the combination of all three was needed to heal at a core level. Right? Everything was always separate, right? And so I had this uncanny ability to really see how the micro translates into the macro, right? How it's all influencing each other. And so it's really about understanding our inner world and how that affects the external, right? And so I wanted to help heal the world. And it really is a big endeavor. So I couldn't do it alone. And so that's what became my mission, right? To help the collective, but to do so by really helping each and individual understand their power, awaken to their power, that they really do have an influence. They really do have a ripple effect into the collective, right? Into the consciousness of the collective, and how
That's
we can
awesome.
actually positively contribute into the world, right? So the idea is healed people heal people. And that really does have a ripple effect. Right now, the world that we see is that hurt people are hurting people. And we have a
Absolutely.
reality, a collective reality that really, that's what it looks like, right? It looks like chaos, like trauma, even in our movies, if you think about it. Most of the movies that were even appealed to are about violence, about, things about like scarcity that really reflects the vision of the collective right now. And so I merge psychotherapy modalities with energy psychology and energetic healing practices to improve wellness, right? At the core level, at the mind, body, and spirit, and how all of those really intermix, right? It really shows up in the way that in our health and what we choose to eat and how we treat ourselves in our environment, who we're around, who we're not around. And so all of it really has to do with one another. And so healing at the core level really requires the mind, body, and the spirit. And the idea is that if we are our true selves, if we really are happy, and we're just gonna, it's infectious, right? That's what
That's
the world is gonna
beautiful.
see, and that's the ripple effect that's gonna be created.
Well, I see your passion, love your passion. That's one of the reasons why we felt you had to be one of our first guests. I just love
Thank
how
you.
you speak about what you do. Um, so basically, what you're saying is you formed this organization to what reach out to the a group, the community, to
Mhm.
heal and provide all of these services. How do you do that? Can you tell me a little bit more about how that
Yeah, yeah. So my
happens?
background is psychology, right? I'm a therapist in psychotherapy, and so it really has to do with the individual journey. But the way that it reaches out to, my true mission is about really reaching out to the community, reaching out to the world, right? Improving the
Okay.
world, and again, not just like we're not just talking about here, home base, local, but at large, because I really truly believe we're all connected. This thing isn't just one. We're a human race all together, and we really influence one another. And so I do understand also that in order for us to even positively impact the world, we have to feel good. We have to, you can't give from an empty cup,
You sure
right? And
cannot.
you're not going to worry about others if you're struggling.
Yeah.
So really, I understood that it has to help. We have to help people know their power,
Hmm.
know themselves, and that means learn how to manage and regulate their emotions, control their minds,
Right, right.
right? In order to actually be able to be sound, be healed, and then that is what we're gonna just it's gonna naturally come out of us, right? The
Yeah,
love that we
Absolutely.
have,
definitely.
it's gonna naturally come out of us. It's like you go to the store and somebody gives you attitude. That affects your day, right?
Hmm.
So if we can go around and actually are receiving positive experiences amongst us, right?
Hmm.
That's the idea. It's like
Okay.
if you have a positive mindset and you go out there with an idea of love, that's what you're gonna find and what you're gonna infect others with.
So let me
Oh,
ask you a question,
yeah.
Lydia. How do you do this? You do this through coaching?
Yes, I do
Okay.
this through coaching, individually, but also group.
Okay.
But particularly, to go to the level of social consciousness, I'm putting together a community called the Pit Flesh, which I'll get into a little bit more, but it
Okay.
really is about the level of individual,
Hmm.
starting with individual healing to then be able to translate that
Now,
into the
before
collective.
you continue, what type of person is coming to you? Who is the person that you're looking to reach out to?
It really depends if you're looking for personal growth or if you're actually looking for entrepreneurship. Because I do also help, one of the things I say, you have to find your purpose. In order to feel useful, you have to find your purpose. But a lot of times we don't know what that is because we're not in touch with ourselves,
Yeah.
right? And so we have to really first get in touch with ourselves, with our inner self, our inner truth, our inner joy, our inner passions to actually figure out what our purpose is. And that fundamental belief is that we all have a purpose. That, everything is, we all have a role to play in
Right.
our collective,
How do
right?
you
And
think
so
that
if
they
we
tap
find our
into that,
purpose,
Lydia? Like, how do you have any like steps or pointers to help a person to be able to do
absolutely.
that?
Absolutely. And it first starts with limiting beliefs. It first starts with healing of the self,
Hmm.
right? Because we often have a lot of different traumas, really, right? We the way things are set up is that unfortunately it doesn't matter. It's like how we say as a parent, we're gonna mess up our kids one way or another, right? Because the truth is that it's the relationship between the inner self and
Hmm.
being forced on social norms, being forced on, what is supposed to be, the shoulds, right? That really our inner voice is often drowned, right? And we don't learn or are taught on how to even express our inner voice, to even check in with ourselves and say, what do I like? Do I like blue? Do I like red instead? What do
Exactly.
I like,
So
right?
Exactly.
let me
And
ask
so
you a
it really
question.
starts with that.
When your are these customers that you're working with? So these are people that come to you. They're looking for to achieve greater heights. How does it
Absolutely.
when they come to you? How do they introduce themselves? I mean, how do you first of all how do you market to those people? Are you using social media? Are you using um, what do you call it? Facebook marketing, digital marketing. How do you reach
Well,
out to your customers?
marketing, just like my principles about growth mindset, when we're talking about it, you got to do it
Yeah.
all. Okay.
Okay.
I believe it's like you got to do a little bit of everything. And so, yeah, social media is because right now, and that also is encompassed in my principles of growth mindset is adaptability. Right now it's social media, but in the future it could be something else. It used to be email marketing. It used to be, sending out flyers
Absolutely.
and brochures. It used to be all that stuff. So it's like whatever it takes to get to the people, right? And
Right.
you could do that to a variety of forms.
But
And social
currently,
media
right
today and
now,
age is the biggest one. Yeah, social media
okay.
is the biggest one right now to have
Hmm.
the
And
biggest reach.
I got you. Awesome. And
It is.
yeah, so what? So you were talking about growth mindset. That's what our show is about.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
Tell me what that means to you. What does growth mindset mean to you?
Okay. So growth mindset, listed out, really simply put, is a couple of things. Adaptability. It's really about number one, which is what I'm talking about. Being able to understand what it takes in the moment. But number one is tenacity.
Hmm.
You have to be relentless. You have to understand that, what you're asking for is more. So to get more, you need to do more. And so you need to be tenacious. You need to be relentless. And that's number one, right? You need to have courage. You need to have creativity. Know that you have to think outside of the box in order to get things done, right? In order to find a reach, right? It takes confidence, knowing who you are. You have to know your power.
Amen.
You have to be clear in your vision, and you have to know your capacity. So it does take confidence because there's going to be a lot of pushback.
Hmm.
That's just going to happen. And you have to know that what you are striving for and what you believe your skills and your talents are, right? You have to be confident in those. That's why the first step in my program is to really get to know yourself, is really touch in with yourself, really find that inner core and that inner strength. Because without that, you're not going to make it to the rest.
Yeah,
Right?
I agree.
And so it becomes secondly, right? You need to have vision. You need to be able to be flexible. You need to be able to be adaptable, right? One thing that we often get stuck at or blocks is like, oh, well, I thought I was doing it this way. And boom, here goes the challenge. No, if there's a wall, see how you could go over it, around it, under it. Do you need to dig another tunnel? Like you need to be able to adapt and be flexible, right? You need to
Definitely.
understand that your reach is it's an expansion. And one of the biggest things is that you have to look at it as, and this is often a problem when you're like a solopreneur. You have to see it as tentacles. You have to see it like tentacles on an octopus. It's
Okay.
about being able to like expand your reach. And so there has to be multiple forms to do that. You can't be closed-minded or short-sighted, but rather see how, again, that ripple effect, right?
Hmm.
Where how I do this and
So,
that will send a ripple effect somewhere else.
so
Yeah.
the opposite of growth mindset is fixed mindset, right? So,
Yeah.
someone who has a fixed mindset is set in their ways. They go through life, you know, following the same routine, never changing.
Exactly.
And you're
Thinking that
saying,
things are impossible. There's no way
Right.
right.
around. Looking at the problem
You
instead of the
have to question,
solution.
And you're
right?
saying
You have
that
to question.
you
You have to
gotta,
say, yeah, you have to say, how can I do this? Not like, how can I do this? Maybe it's not the way that you're doing it. If you came up against a challenge, maybe that's not the way. How can I?
right,
Not I can't, right?
right.
But how can I? That's something that, you know, that's a habit that I had. Is
When
to
you
always
lead with
say,
an open
wow,
question like that, you find the answers. You
absolutely,
go
absolutely.
Hmm.
searching for those solutions.
And I think we
As if
did
you
Absolutely.
were,
It
mention
expands
a
your
lot
mind.
of the key words. Like we say, you have to be resilient,
yeah,
have
Hmm.
to have tenacity, all of those,
right.
powerful characteristics in order to be able to make it
Right,
through. But I think another thing we missed was, motivation. You have to,
right,
be motivated, have some kind of passion for what you want, right? To be able to
right.
have that guiding force. So, with that being said, like, how can a person stay motivated, especially during the tough times when they do happen? Because, of course, we know it's going to happen. What can you
Hmm.
do, or what tips do you have for a person in order to be able to get through those times?
I'm telling you that I'm going to claim it now. It's absolutely tough. It gets very tough because to achieve happiness, you're asking for something that isn't. that isn't the norm, right? You're asking to go outside of that. So you do have to stay motivated. Number one thing to stay motivated is discipline and consistency.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, you know how a rock makes a dent, makes a crater?
Hmm.
One drop at a time, consistently, 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 consistently. And water can create a crater out of a rock just by being consistent.
Yeah.
And so you have to be consistent. You have to put it to bite-sized portions. That's so important. You just make it digestible for yourself. Just focus on, reverse engineer it. This is what I got to do. So this is what I need monthly. This is what I need weekly. This is what I need daily. And on a daily basis, you just make sure you hit the daily point. Make them realistic, obviously, not overwhelming, but just make sure that you're consistent with what you got to do. So that's number one. Then it takes balance. It takes balance because as we're developing and as we're growing, we're living. We still got to live, right? We still got to enjoy life. And the joy of life is a motivating factor, right? It's to be able to have more travel, more vacations, to be able to buy more things for our loved ones, for ourselves, right? And so you do have to live a balanced life, work-life balance, and be able to find joy, right? So just as much
Definitely.
as you're working, you're also giving yourself rewards because you
Right.
have to, in order to stay motivated, you have to feel it's worth it.
You do.
If you're just robotic and working, 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 you're like, what am I doing
Like,
this
what is
for?
it for?
Because,
Yeah.
right, because outcomes and results come later.
Definitely.
You don't always see it right away. It takes a while to build. Another one is wellness. You have to take care of yourself.
Hmm.
You
I
have
was
to
just
have
gonna
self-care.
say, yeah,
You
your
have to.
health is a big part
Mind,
of it,
body,
right?
and
Number
If you're
one,
spirit.
and
not
I
taking
can I
care,
can
Absolutely.
attest to that. Yes, you
yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
have to have the health and wellness. If you're not
Keisha
Absolutely.
healthy,
What
is
are you
a
gonna do?
yes,
Right.
yes,
health and
definitely.
Whether
wellness
it's
coach.
mental, whether it's
I have to
emotional, whether
say,
it's physical, right?
yes,
Whether it's any of that. If you're physically sick, you're not going to be able to think clearly. You're not able to do things.
yeah,
If you're
Right.
if you're mentally, if you're suffering from depression, if you have anxiety, if you have all these things, right?
they're
You're not
all
going to be able to think
interconnected.
clearly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Again, mind,
Hmm.
body, spirit. You have to be aware also of your limiting beliefs. You
Hmm.
have to be aware of your blocks. You have to be aware how you respond to stress. Some of us respond to stress that we avoid or we withdraw or we procrastinate or, sometimes it's that we act out. So we have to be aware of how we respond to it so we can catch it and align ourselves back into motion, right?
Yeah.
And that has a lot to do with our environment, our tribe. You want to be able to have a tribe, an environment that is really helping you succeed, right? The
Well,
five senses. What are you listening to?
And I
Like
think
this
also the
podcast,
tools and
right?
resources too. You have to
Right,
have a great system in place that can be able
right.
to help your business run more efficiently or anything that you're doing. So that way
absolutely.
you can be able to focus on the things that matter, right? And, just putting it
But
out
Absolutely.
there. Mike and I do have a system that does help in that, for entrepreneurs where you can be able to run your business, be able to get your leads, contact with them, do all the things you need to do, because a lot of times when you're being a solopreneur and you're all over the place,
Yeah.
it's hard
Mhm.
for you to be able to focus, and that can take your motivation away too. That can take your best
Absolutely.
the best person or the best part of yourself away because you're so
Mhm. Mhm.
fixated on something else. So I think also the tools and resources, the systems that you use and what you have in place to be
Absolutely.
able to run whatever you
well,
have,
that's a
whatever
that's a
empire
good
you got.
question for you right now. What systems do you have in place right now to run
Mhm.
your business to have it, be as efficient and
Mhm.
yeah, especially today, we need to take advantage of the technological advances that are available.
Definitely.
To there's AI, there's CRMs, there's
Mhm. Mhm.
social media. There's what
Mhm.
what what
Right.
systems are you using? How is that working for
Well,
you?
you have to learn the tools that are necessary to
Mhm.
do that, right? What tools you need in order to like generate, be able to reach out like in a CRM system. You definitely need that where you're keeping your contacts, how you're able to reach out to them, how you're able to market to them, right?
Mhm.
All of that is needed. So even from social media, for instance, yeah, we're there to present it to spread it. But then the goal is to get them off of social media, right? The goal is to get them into your network, into your system. And so you need a CRM tool. You need, there's a series of business tools that you need to know. You need to know that your legalities are on point. You need to know that you have, everything, that your formation, your taxes, your, whatever compliance you need for your business. Definitely you want to
Right.
make sure those are on point, right? So nothing stops you and comes after you. But definitely when it comes to reach, you need to have a CRM system. You need to, what is the client journey that you're taking them on, and how smoothly is it? How can you optimize that as best as possible?
Right.
Exactly.
So those are necessary
I feel
without a
it's
doubt.
critical
It's
to run, to have a CRM in place. In today's era, you have to be able to manage your customers. There needs to be, what do you call it,
especially what we
automations in
call, I was
place.
just about to say that,
Thank you.
automated system. Like, you shouldn't have to remember to go ahead and reach out to this customer. It should be something in
Right.
place that's going to do it for you, because I guarantee you,
Absolutely.
you're going to miss somebody if you have to depend on just you,
Yeah, the
especially if you have
CRM
to.
system
Yep.
It's just not going
allows
to
you
happen.
to collect data, interact with the customers in special ways. You can automatically respond to them, send them updates and notices and what have you
Yep.
on an ongoing basis without even thinking twice about it. It's automated.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. On your own, you will only get but so far.
yeah,
In order to
Definitely.
scale your business, these are the things that are necessary. Because even as a solopreneur or whatever it is, you will only
yeah.
get so far. So that's one of the things that requires adaptability, right? And flexibility, is to know when it's time to scale your business. You need to do that, because you, as the main person, all you want to do is create. Goes back to that inner self, right? What we do is an expression of ourselves,
Yes, it
of our love.
is.
And so you want to be able to do that unhinged, right? And all the little things and the technical and the stuff that will distract you from being able to do that. So having a really good system, a good CRM system, a good thing that's especially automated,
You
forget it.
can't go wrong,
So
right?
invaluable. So invaluable. Yep.
And that also
Right.
goes
Especially for growth.
to, like, so, we talked about a lot of, good tools and a lot of different things that are great for an entrepreneur or anybody who is trying to have growth in their life, to have in place when it comes to their mindset, when it comes to a lot of, of key factors. Another thing I think is good to talk about is, the community, like your social circle, right? So I
Hmm.
guess that will go to the next question that we have for you, Lydia. How does your business bring awareness to the community?
Well, the main drive of my mission is to create social consciousness and awareness, right? That's the main drive in reaching heights, really. And so it's the idea of each one help one. And so I do have a large part of it, and the drive, again, the idea of helping people individually grow is for them to find their purpose so they can then be at a place to impact society, right? To impact the world. That's really the driving mission. And so I do have a program, a community called Pay It Forward, PIF Pledge. And so the PIF Pledge, what that's about, I don't know if you guys, I got inspired by the year 2000 movie Pay It Forward with Haley, John Osment, and Kevin Spacey.
Okay.
So the idea is, each one helps
I
one,
think I remember
right?
I
seeing
have
that.
heard that. I have
Yeah,
heard
and so
that
Yeah,
that
phrase.
yeah,
yeah, I
that's
do
that's where
remember
pay
that.
it forward, the
Yeah,
pay
came
it
from.
forward, the PIF pledge came
Yeah.
from, where it's about everybody being able to get together and share their resources. One thing that, in our communities that we lack is resource. We have a lot of human capital. We have a lot of skill. We have a lot of, knowledge amongst all of us, right? So it's human capital. We may not have the money, we may not have the ways, we may not have, all these things that we got to work against, but we have skill.
Yeah.
We have expertise. We have, love even, right?
Yes, we
And
do.
so the idea of the PIV pledge is to come together like a project like this. That's why I commend you guys, and I'm so honored, because it's about coming together and saying, you know what, this is what I got, this is what I could bring to it, and this can help
Yeah.
the world, right? And this can make an impact onto others. And so that's what the PIP Pledge is about. It's a platform for people to get together, share resources to specifically address social change issues, and social consciousness, to
How
understand
do
that
you,
we do have a responsibility.
Yes,
how
we
do
do.
you access that community?
So it is a membership program. And it's people that, can contribute membership, and all of all the proceeds are to fund these projects, right? And so I even have Phoenix merch, where Phoenix merch, the merchandise there, Phoenix Rising merch, is actually 40% of that goes towards the PIF
And
pledge
that
and, funding that
behind you,
community.
that's the Phoenix Rising
Hmm.
logo you came up with. That I think is
Yes.
so
That
awesome.
is,
Can
yeah,
I see
yeah.
what that
So
looks
it is
like?
a phoenix. It's a phoenix. This has been
It's
updated, but this
so
is a phoenix. And that's the idea, right? So the tail
yeah,
is the fire, right? Rising from the ashes. Because,
awesome.
no matter how much we fall, we can always start again.
Yes.
Every day that we wake up,
We have a new
it's another
beginning.
opportunity.
Yes. It's
Absolutely.
another
And so
day.
it's never too late. It's never too early, right? It doesn't matter what happens to us in our lives. We have the capacity to then start over and make something of ourselves. So that really starts with that. And so it's about educating the masses with the PIV pledge, right? And so here's an example. Here is the 2024 elections,
Yes.
right? Here's a time where, if anybody's paying attention, and you should,
Yes, you should.
right? Where our freedom and our democracy
It's
are
safe.
at risk.
Yes,
Big time.
it is.
This is what the PIV pledge is about. This is what it's about. It's about getting together now,
Yes.
raising awareness, educating the masses on the importance of what's happening right now,
Hmm.
the implications of what's happening right now, the resources, right? Being able to motivate one another to create unity, to create camaraderie, and saying, hey, we're fighting for our freedom.
Hmm.
We're so close. I mean, with all the laws that have recently been passed, we're so close. We are a hop, skip, and a jump from a dictatorship, guys. And so this is massive right now.
It
This is
is.
the time right now where something like the PIP pledge totally matters and is necessary.
Yes.
It's a calling in me that this time has brought in, that whether I was ready or not, it's like, we gotta go.
Yeah,
Gotta
Because you
make it
know
happen.
what? We gotta unite right now. We have
we
to
do.
educate ourselves. We have to provide the
Well,
I
resources,
think the people
right?
need to
And
know
getting
first of
together to
all
do
what
that.
what is at stake,
What's happening?
because I
Exactly.
don't think
a lot of
nobody
freedoms,
really understands
a lot
No.
what
of
is at stake with this election
with
that's
this
coming up
election
when in
coming up.
Absolutely.
November.
Absolutely,
It's in November, right? That we have
In
to go ahead and
November.
do these
a
votes.
lot of rights have
Uh-huh.
been rolled back,
Yeah.
and most people are not even aware of what's going on, and it's
Exactly.
really affecting our lives right now,
Hmm.
under our nose, and people just
It's happening right under our noses. And let
and
me tell you, it's propaganda. We're distracted by so many
they're
things, right? We're
distracting us.
distracted,
Absolutely.
right? They're distracting us. It's all strategy. It's all a plan. And so we're being distracted. You know why? Because it goes back to that part that I'm telling you about people needing to be at a certain level in order to have awareness.
Hmm.
Because if I'm struggling to get food, if I'm
How can you
struggling
be
to feed
worrying
my
about
kids,
something else that,
I'm not worried about
yeah,
anything else. Right. And so it's happening right under
But
our noses. And so
there,
we have to
each
educate.
and every vote is going to count, right?
Absolutely.
And so
Absolutely.
I don't believe that there's been enough done
No,
to get the vote out, right? I mean, I
on
think
purpose.
I think well, also because we're this is summertime, I think that they're strategically waiting for the point where people
Absolutely.
start paying attention again. But I don't know if we need
Absolutely.
there needs to be action taken right now.
hmm,
Um,
Absolutely.
what are some of the things that you think are necessary to get people mobilized, to get them out there to, first of all, realize that what's at stake,
number one,
but
check the
also
Hmm.
website rockthevote.org. I would
rock the
Yep.
vote.
recommend that. That gives you the information for your voting polls,
If you
where you
don't
can
know where to
go,
go, you
how to
might get
register, how to
right
get all
at
the
the
information
last. You
that you
might
need.
not be registered in time,
Right.
right?
Yep. Number one is education. People need to understand why it's important.
Hmm.
Because, people don't move unless there is a direct, impact. Okay? That's just human beings. That's not anything but that, right? We're motivated by self-preservation. Period. And so people need to understand what's at stake. Then they need the resources. They need to also it has to be facilitated. You know why? Because if I'm in my hustle and bustle, I need to have a quick way to do it, right? A quick way to be able to get on board. So going, participating in things like that, educating yourself with something like this podcast, and then going to Rock the Vote and being able to register. Make sure that everything is put together. But it starts with educating and then being able to mobilize. That means unity.
Yeah.
That means people coming together, the conversation starting to be had in your living room to anywhere else that you go, to be able to start spreading that word, and
Absolutely.
always do that with the resources, right? So people have to be informed and adequately equipped, right? With, you're talking about it, this is where you go. Bump, quick link, there you go,
Yeah.
right? Go ahead, vote. If you need an absentee ballot, if you need this ballot, if you need that, get it done, because all of those things become barriers, right? And again, you're living life day to day, day to day. So we also have to make it easy for everyone. But it starts with education.
It does.
It starts with understanding how it's going to affect you in your home,
Yeah.
right? In your home, to really understand the gravity of it. And then people can get together and make enough of a roar, enough noise, right? That it starts,
So it starts there.
directing people towards the right
You
direction.
had suggested a couple of other steps. What were those steps?
Well, besides educating and having that information, getting together, having more of that conversations, and having the resources. So clicking the links, right? Having the links accessible, sharing the links everywhere. Use your social media platforms. This is something that really is as, so important for all of
Yes.
us, so detrimental to all of us. Use your platforms to spread the word. We go from work to home, and that's pretty much what we do. So there's, today and age, there's not a lot of connection. There's not a lot of interactions. Use your platforms. I urge everyone to, either share content or create content that says, "Hey, vote." You remember the campaign with Obama,
Oh
vote
yeah.
or die,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Vote or die. We need that again.
Yeah.
That's what we need
Because
again.
it is basically
Everybody
like
needs to
life or
get on the
death at
page.
this point. I hate to be
It
so
is.
direct, but I'm going to be.
It's true.
Yeah, it's vote or die. So get out there
It
and
is.
do it. Seriously.
But people don't know that, and not enough people are out there saying that. There's a few celebrities now, there's a few people, but we need to make more of a noise.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one. What's her name?
Terry Washington.
Yep.
Carrie Washington. I love that video that she
Olivia
put it.
Pope
I
movie.
was Olivia
Yep.
Olivia
Pope.
Pope.
She had such a powerful
Yep.
statement that I haven't heard anybody else,
Yep.
saying.
Yep.
I took that video and started sending it to as many people as I knew. I think we need to.
And that's what it takes, Mike.
And we can
That's what it
actually
takes.
share the
You
link to
know,
that too.
Yeah, we
yeah.
should.
The
Yeah.
other.
So, yesterday, the Supreme Court ruled that the president is immune from criminal prosecution. So, I'm going to say something right now that may sound extreme to you, but this is not an exaggeration. Please listen to me very carefully. This decision is a blueprint for dictatorship. This decision lays the groundwork for a president to do whatever they want, whenever they want, to whomever they want. And the only thing standing in the way of that happening is you, your voice, your vote. Okay, let me explain. So, according to the Supreme Court, the conservative court that was made possible by Trump's first term in office, according to that court, the president of the United States is now immune from criminal prosecution for actions he takes as a president while in office. So what does that mean? Well, as my sister from the Bronx, Justice Sonia Sotomayor, explained, and I'm paraphrasing, but she said that that decision means that Trump could order the military to kill a political opponent with zero consequences. So this is how democracies in other countries have failed in recent years. It's not by wars, it's not by coups, it's through elected governments using methods to chip away at the power of the people until we have no power at all to hold those governments accountable. So if Donald Trump is reelected, there will be very little that we can do to stop him from using the power of the White House however he wants. There are reasons to feel frustrated with our democracy. I get it. I feel it. We have a long fight ahead of us to have this country really live up to its ideals. But this year, I am telling you, our actual freedom is on the ballot. And I am terrified that the belief that too many of us have that our votes don't matter could mean that one day in the very near future, they actually won't matter at all. Now, I'm not saying this to scare you. I want to inform you. I want to remind you of the power that you do have. Right now, it is not too late. You have power. You can share this video with friends and family and loved ones. I think voting is an act of self-love, of self-care. Voting and volunteering, donating to organizations that fight for democracy. These are the things that we can do, that we have to do to take care of ourselves and our community and each other right now. Please, this country needs you. Your voice matters. Your vote matters. You matter.
I want to say that. I want to
Yeah.
say, this is a big problem. We don't, it goes back to growth mindset. We don't have to think about it so big in terms of what we have to do. It doesn't have to be that we have to go march and
Take
put our
little
lives at
steps,
risk.
right?
It really
Yeah,
is as simple as sharing content.
Yeah.
It
right.
really is as simple as putting it in, saying something about it.
But also,
We all have a power.
Yes, we do.
if you are one that is looking to take action, there's a company, organization called Indivisible that actually has a lot of
Right?
action steps. They got materials and resources for those of you who are looking to take action. And definitely, I recommend checking them out, starting your own
Absolutely.
community group. It can start out small and grow to however large you want it to. Pay attention.
Yep.
Definitely pay
Definitely.
attention to what's
Yep.
going on.
And get
I know,
together. Get
yeah,
together.
yeah.
Yes. Two is
Don't let them
always
pull an okey doke on
been
us.
two has always been better than one. And in this case, multiple is even better. So
Power in numbers, right?
we
Power in numbers.
definitely want
Absolutely,
to come together. We want to unite. I
absolutely.
think that that does not happen enough. We do not show enough
No.
love to each other. We do not help each other and put out our hands. And I think that it's time for us to do that. It's time for us to help each other, educate each other, and move towards one conclusive like journey right now, and that's
Hmm.
definitely voting, getting your
Yep.
house in order, and
Yep.
everything else that comes with that.
Again, divided
Because
we fall,
otherwise,
united we stand, right? Divided we
otherwise,
fall, united we stand.
Yes.
yeah, otherwise we won't have the democracy to actually to enjoy
Yep.
anymore. I mean, it's going to be different.
Absolutely.
It will be different on the other
Absolutely.
side of this.
Yes.
But
Absolutely.
not to make it all about politics and not to get too deep into this, but I think it was definitely it needed to be said. And
Yes.
thank you, Lydia, for
Hmm.
coming on. I am so blessed to have had
Absolutely.
you.
We do
And
Thank you,
appreciate
guys.
you.
Again, this
you're
is how it
welcome.
happens, right? This is growth right here. It's about being together,
Absolutely.
understanding the power, and really, letting yourself love freely. Like I say, we all truly at our inner core just want love and want to give love.
Yes,
So
we
allow
do.
yourself to love freely. And you taking care of one another is loving freely. It's just really expressing your core. And so we do that now, especially right now, by protecting our freedom and
Yeah.
by protecting, and getting together and
Yeah.
uniting.
Let me say this also. We are a part of a powerful community of entrepreneurs. Lydia is one of our sisters in our
Yes.
Kings and Queens roundtable. We are actually accountability partners, and we work together to help build each other up. And it's just an amazing group of people, and we're all being coached by the spectacular School of Business. Shout out to Sensei Spec
Absolutely.
Yes.
Sensi
and
Jamie.
Sensei Jamie. They have brought together an amazing group of people.
Community.
I am so blessed to know all of you guys.
Yes.
Me and Keisha and I met through that
Yep.
group, that what do you call it? That coaching program,
Association. It's been
and
amazing.
and
And thank you
they
so much
have
for saying
us,
that, Mike, because
yeah,
that's actually one of the things. You have to look for mentorship.
You
You have
do.
to look for your
mentors.
tribe, right?
A
You
Yes.
have to
coach
choose a
without a coach
community.
is a
Not a coach.
Exactly.
no,
Exactly.
no, no. A coach without a coach is a Hypocrite. Come on now. Y'all
Right.
know
No, I don't know. I don't know it.
Look, I just had to put
But
my own little slang in
yeah.
there.
that. You have to throw a little twist on it.
Go ahead now.
But yo,
But yeah, you need
we
mentorship. And Sensei Spec and his team, oh my gosh, this is what I'm talking about.
I
So
can't
inspired
be
with this team. The
I can't say enough.
amazingness that he's doing, I cannot say enough.
Yeah.
You know, how he is helping with Master P close the wealth gap. That's their mission, right? Sensei Spec's
He
mission is to
wants to
create a
create a
million
million
millionaires.
millionaires.
Right.
Millionaires.
Right. And the idea is to close the wealth gap. That's so important,
Right,
right? To give us
right.
power, right? To give us power.
Absolutely.
And so,
And
the
I've
way that he's
not
doing it is amazing.
Yes, it
I
is.
have not been in such a powerful, tight knit group of like minded people
Have not
who are
Absolutely.
all
since this.
striving
Like,
for
wow.
greatness.
Yeah.
I haven't been in I've been through a lot of coaching programs, and this
Hmm.
is actually the first
Same
one
It
here.
does. It
Yep.
that
definitely. So this
and
right here shows you the
yeah,
power of finding the right
this is a
community,
result.
finding the
Yes.
Yeah,
right
exactly.
tribe. Like this right
Yes.
here, it shows.
Yes.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes, and so
And we
necessary.
all
I'm
supporting
so
each other.
blessed. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm so thankful for, Spectacular School of Business,
Me
Spectacular
too.
Academy. I mean, the
Yeah.
tools, I mean, they take you through everything, really in
They
a
put us
way
through
that's
it.
amazing. They
Yeah.
do. They push you, but they give you the step by step. They really do. That really, it's
Exactly.
really, if you don't do it, it's because you're not applying it, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Right.
You have to apply.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Don't just
Yeah.
don't
And
just
believe in yourself.
Well,
It starts with that,
yeah,
yeah.
inputter, you're getting all the information, but you ain't putting it out there. You gotta also
right?
you gotta process it
Right. Right.
and
Right.
make action happen.
Well, as a result of that, Keisha and I started this business. It's a digital marketing business called DigitalSphere Consulting,
Hmm.
and we are selling CRMs to
Yes, we are.
small and medium-sized businesses, and
Hmm.
So
helping them
necessary.
to
So
So
necessary.
absolutely,
necessary.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And this podcast is about the mindset piece of it, which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
so very critical. All
We
right,
think it all
but
comes
absolutely.
yeah,
together, and we feel
absolutely.
like putting everything out there, trying to help people that's just like us, entrepreneurs, and
Right, right.
everybody who wants to just make something out of themselves.
Hmm.
Right.
Like we're providing the tools and we're providing the
Exactly.
resources, so it won't be an excuse. You know.
Exactly. And
Right.
this is what it's about, right? This is exactly what it's about. Is
Yeah.
this is what I can offer. This is what I can offer to the pie to
Yes.
create a movement, right? This
Yes.
is what it's about. Is we all have skills, we all have talents, we all have gifts that truly can be utilized for the betterment of us all. So,
Yes, we
I'm so
do.
deeply honored and so proud of the work that you're both doing here because,
Thank you.
this really is going to help so many people, people that are starting out or even in the middle of it to understand what it takes. So, and this is what it's about, that we all have the capacity to impact one another in this way.
Well,
Thank
we
you.
So
will.
That is
thank
so
you.
We
sweet. I
definitely
really
will, and
appreciate
including
you.
you, Lydia.
And
We appreciate
Indeed.
you.
Thank you
yes,
so much.
and you. Lots of success to you. If we have anything to do with it, you're going to be
We will have
tremendously
something to do with
successful.
it. We will
We will,
Yep.
all
absolutely.
keep
We
rising to
are
the top.
accountability partners, and we're helping each other out,
Yes,
right? We
we
want to make
are.
sure that
Definitely.
we all do well.
Yes.
And
Well, I
so,
thank you
yeah,
guys so much. I
You're
thank you
you're
guys so
welcome.
welcome.
much.
You're
You're
welcome.
welcome.
Well, with that, it's a wrap for this week's episode of Gross Mindset with Mike and Keisha. Thank you so much, Lydia, for joining us. We hope you found today's conversation and inspiring and insightful as we did.
And remember, success is a journey, not a destination. Every step you take gets you closer to your goals.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you subscribe, rate, and leave us a review. It really helps us reach more entrepreneurs like you.
And don't forget to follow us on social media for more tips and updates. You can find us at www.digitalsphereconsulting.com. Our social media, we are IG, it's Digital Sphere Consulting. Is that correct? And our IG, Mike, want to make sure I'm not messing that up.
Digital Sphere Consultant, yeah. Digital Sphere Consultant. It's Digital Sphere Consulting on all platforms, right? IG,
Oh,
Facebook, everything. We're everywhere.
LinkedIn. We're also in LinkedIn.
That's
Look,
right.
we cannot be entrepreneurs and business people when we're not on LinkedIn. So if you're
No,
not on
that's right.
LinkedIn, you
That's
better get on LinkedIn
one of the
too.
main platforms, right?
Yes. So yes, definitely follow us everywhere. like, and subscribe.
So join us next week for another deep dive into the world of entrepreneurship. Until then, keep growing and keep pushing forward.
Stay inspired, stay motivated, and remember, with the right mindset, anything is possible. Peace.